Good morning, and welcome to Acts Day 14. All right, here we go. And it came to pass in Iconium that they both went together into the synagogue of the Jews and spoke, so that a great multitude believed, both of the Jews and also of the Greeks. But the unbelieving Jews stirred up the Gentiles and influenced their minds against the brothers. Therefore, they remained there for a long time, speaking boldly in the Lord, who gave testimony to the word of his grace and granted signs and wonders to be done by their hands. But the multitude of the city was divided, and part held with the Jews and part with the apostles. And when an assault was made by both the Gentiles and also by the Jews with their rulers, to use them despitefully and to stone them, they became aware of it and fled to Lystra and Derbe, cities of Lycaonia, and to the surrounding region, and they preached the gospel there. And at Lystra a certain man was sitting, weak in his feet, who had never walked, being lame from his mother's womb. The same man heard Paul speak. Paul, steadfastly looking at him and perceiving that he had faith to be healed, said with a loud voice, "Stand upright on your feet." And he leaped and walked. Verse 11. And when the people saw what Paul had done, they lifted up their voices, saying in the speech of Lycaonia, "The gods have come down to us in the likeness of men." And Barnabas they called Jupiter. And Paul, Mercurius, because he was the chief speaker. Then the priest of Jupiter, who was before their city, brought oxen and garlands to the gates, and wanted to sacrifice with the people. But when the apostles Barnabas and Paul heard about it, they tore their clothes and ran in among the people, crying out and saying, "Sirs, why are you doing these things? We are also men with similar passions as you, and preach to you that you should turn from these vanities to the living God, who made heaven and earth, and the sea and all things that are in them, who in times past allowed all nations to walk in their own ways. Nevertheless, he did not leave himself without witness, in that he did good and gave us rain from heaven and fruitful seasons, filling our hearts with food and gladness." And with these sayings, they scarcely restrained the people from sacrificing to them. Verse 19. And certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium came there, who persuaded the people, and having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, supposing he was dead. Although as the disciples stood all around him, he rose up and came into the city. And the next day he departed with Barnabas to Derbe. And when they had preached the gospel to that city and had taught many, they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and to Antioch, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that through much tribulation we must enter into the kingdom of God. Verse 23. And when they had ordained elders for them in every church and had prayed with fasting, they commended them to the Lord in whom they believed. And after they had passed throughout Pisidia, they came to Pamphylia. And when they had preached the word in Perga, they went down into Attalia, and from there sailed to Antioch, from where they had been commended to the grace of God for the work they had fulfilled. And when they had arrived and had gathered the church together, they rehearsed all that God had done with them, and how he had opened the door of faith to the Gentiles. And they remained there for a long time with the disciples. Thank you for joining me for Acts Day 14, and keep looking up.